Welcome, ladies and gents. I'm Dan the Man Muñoz, host of Movie Many Reviews, your weekly movie news and reviews podcast. We are live. Welcome. I would like to introduce special correspondent Rigo Espinoza.
Rigo! What's up, guys?
Rigo.
What's up?
Glad you could be here for a review for Transformers: The Last Night.
Yay!
Also joining us, who is not the last night, but he's the last Z, is our senior panelist and co-host, Z!
Yay!
Hi, thank you.
Also here is my co-host and sound guy, Mike Stan.
how's it going?
So thank you so much for tuning in live. We are happy that you are for a spoiler-free review of Transformers. More than meets the eyes. So
I like you guys
the messed up.
you both got it completely off. Yeah.
I mean that's okay though.
Yeah, it's like Transformers karaoke.
Bad karaoke.
Yeah.
So
same thing.
let's go ahead and get started. The movie we're reviewing is Transformers: The Last Night, directed by Michael Bay, of course. Art McComb and Matt Holloway wrote the script, amongst other people. Here's the plot. Humans and Transformers are at war. Optimus Prime is gone. The key to saving our future lies buried in the secrets of the past and the hidden history of Transformers on Earth. It stars Mark Wahlberg, Anthony Hopkins, Josh Duhamel, Laura Haddock, Santiago Cabrera, and Isabel Moner. All right, guys, we have all seen this film, so we will decide if this movie's worth a dine-in, watch it in theaters, take out, wait and watch it at home, or leftovers. Go ahead and throw yourself in space so you blow up in Cybertron.
There you go.
Sure.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Go and whoever. Oh, I guess we're not giving points away today.
No, since we're all pretty much at this point. How about the audience gets to tell us who wins this argument?
Yeah, I guess you guys can go ahead and let us know who deserves the points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
So we'll leave it up to you guys.
Whoever argues most passionately,
Okay.
it'll be Rigo.
No.
Probably. Rigo is the most passionate one here.
I'm not actually. That role goes to Z.
You look all beaten up.
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for this review.
You just finished watching Transformers for the fourth time.
You're like, I just want to get this over with.
No.
Real quick before we start, did anyone do a Transformers marathon before they saw this one? 'Cause
No.
that'd be
We
pretty
are not
hardcore.
sadistical. No, that did not happen.
Yeah, that would have had to start last week.
Yes. There's too many and
super
they're
long.
too long. Yes.
All right, guys, go ahead and rate this film. Rigo. Actually, Z, you go first.
Yes.
Oh, why does it go for me first?
Because you're down over there.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I see we're doing this. Okay.
And then Rigo will go, I'll go, and then we'll leave it Mike last.
You know, here's the interesting part. I didn't entirely hate this film, but it's still leftovers for me. But it's like a weak leftovers. It was a much better film than the previous films, but the benchmark is still very, very low. It's still leftovers.
So would this be a hard leftovers?
Yes, hard leftovers, exactly.
It's still confusing, damn it. It's still confusing.
Where did this soft and hard concept begin?
Rigo, thank you. Thank you. I don't get it. I don't understand it, and I don't want to understand
You don't need to understand it. The point is, it was on the border, on the cusp of being a takeout. I think that they put in a lot of hard work into it, focusing more on the actors and less on the robots. And I thought that was the right way of doing this, but it still sucked. It was still sexist. It was still racist. It was still everything juvenile that it should have been. And even at that, like, the entire premise of this story is that it should be focused for kids. In the theater we were in, there were children there, but they were still balls jokes. They were still, making, sexual jokes against women. It was just still very, very much a teenage mind making a kid film.
Okay, let's go to rating, please. Let's not give the whole review.
No, he's not. He's explaining why he called it a leftovers.
Yeah.
Rigo?
I'm gonna have to agree with Z and go with leftovers, but for the opposite reason.
Okay.
His was that it was all about the humans. If I'm gonna watch a Transformers movie, I want it to be about the Transformers.
I agree as well with that.
I'm actually gonna go. I'm like exactly as you. Completely agree. This movie didn't piss me off after watching it. Like when I saw the Age of Extinction, I was literally like shaking in my seat, upset watching it.
That's the previous film, right?
Yeah, the previous
Because you
film.
were excited to see the dinosaurs.
No, I mean, like whatever. But this one I actually did enjoy for them.
So you loved it. So it's a dine-in? Got it.
Oh,
It
dine-in?
is. It's a dine-in.
Dan gives it a
No.
dine-in.
No.
You hear it first.
No, but it was. I actually did enjoy the story behind it, even though they kind of. This is spoiler free, so we don't want to go too much into detail of the movie.
Yeah.
But I'll actually give it a takeout.
Oh, okay. You're
I
taking.
felt like
okay.
this was more enjoyable than the second, third, and fourth one combined.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
But it was better than the first one.
No.
Because the first one, let's just face it, that's like the best one.
It is,
Well-
no, it is. That's why. That's why the first one.
When you say best one, you mean takeout because it's good for takeout
Of the
reasons.
franchise,
Yes,
if
yeah.
I had to say
No,
the
I mean,
one,
very
it
low
was,
bar.
It
You
was,
very
watched
low
the
bar.
it was
first
a fun movie to watch in theaters.
You just like Shia LaBeouf.
I do.
No.
If they would have had Shia LaBeouf in this movie, it would have been a dine-in.
No, you know realistically why? This one didn't
They
have,
did, in fact, have
They
Shia LaBeouf.
did, but
yeah.
For a second.
I didn't find that funny at all.
I didn't find that. I literally
Yeah, it was-
groaned in my seat. I
Well,
was like,
Michael Bay has no sense of humor. No sense of humor whatsoever.
yes.
Go on, Mike.
Well, he does have a sense of humor. It's a teenage sense of humor. He laughs at balls jokes. He laughs at like stupid little things like that, where like someone gets hit in the nuts and that's funny. So he does have a sense of humor. It's just a really infantile.
not funny.
One. Yeah.
Yeah, leftovers.
So I'm the only one.
Yeah, yeah, you're the only one, Dan. I'm
You're
sorry.
So what the reason why I really liked about this movie is their focus on Bumblebee, and
What?
I like Bumblebee.
They did not really focus on Bumblebee.
They
They
did not
focused-
focus on Bumblebee at all.
They
What are you
did.
talking about?
They
Yeah,
did.
like,
They
he had-
did.
He had like a little backstory.
He
It's
did.
a small one.
You know
but
what it
it's there.
reminded me of? It reminded me of Wonder Woman, where they were like, oh yes, Bumblebee has a past, and here's a picture of him in the past in World War II.
Is
and,
it-
and,
No,
and
they
then-
showed
and then all of a sudden you hear the music, dun dun dun
They,
dun
they
dun.
show
dun,
him
dun.
kicking butt.
You
And
just
then-
hear it, and it's like, no, this is stupid. I
And
can
this-
tell you're gonna
even
try
though-
making a prequel.
Even though they still
Oh,
had
I see.
the Bud Light.
Oh, you like the advertisement?
Yeah, it was. No, even though it wasn't as obvious in this
Oh.
film as opposed to the last film. It was still there,
It was still there.
but not stupidly obvious and annoying like the stupid Sparks thing that kept on turning into product placement.
Yeah,
stuff.
that was really
That
stupid.
was so dumb. They
Don't-
didn't have that in this one.
Don't forget the last one where they crash into Hong Kong, I believe, and then they crash into a Bud Light
Well, yeah,
truck.
no, that was stupid.
And then he breaks open a beer and goes like, "Oh, you're mad? Let me just drink a beer." And he drinks a beer.
At
in
least
front
in this one, when he drinks a beer, he's actually like just relaxing to drink a beer.
Yes.
So it made more sense.
And it was still a Bud
I
Light.
love how the movie's so terrible. You have to like emphasize on beer drinking as one of the plot points.
Well, because he wanted to drink a beer after watching this movie.
yeah.
Dan, did you drink while watching this movie?
I wish.
I
It
wish
does. It did happen early on. Maybe they're trying to give you a hint, like, yeah, I have a few.
Yeah. No, actually, in fact, there was a lot of. It was funny because I was watching it and I was writing notes, and like I feel like whoever was the writer, just was like, channeling us, because there's a lot of funny quotes in there where like somebody at the very beginning of the movie goes, "This is the end," and I was like, "Yes, this is the last film in the franchise." And then there's a lot of other little.
This is the
silly-
last film in the Bayham franchise.
Yeah, exactly. But there's also like a bunch of little silly things that get said out loud, like. Does he have to loom like that? Which was something that was mentioned when they were like, they were looking at each other, because there's a moment where Mark Wahlberg has to take off his shirt, and then afterwards somebody mentions, does he have to loom like that? Because we all felt like we were looming at the Haddock, the woman actress. I forgot her name.
Yeah, Laura Haddock.
Laura Haddock. We were all looming at her because she's wearing a very skin tight outfit, and then you've got Mark Wahlberg taking off his shirt.
Well, because you gotta appeal to all masses.
All asses,
Well,
for sure.
Well, also like Anthony Hopkins, man, he was awful in this movie.
He wasn't awful. He seemed to have really been enjoying his time. He was flipping people off. It was kind of like
He was
he really didn't
but
care.
yeah, he was such an asshole.
Yes.
Also, like, move your fat ass and all this like crazy stuff, flipping off for no one, for out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know. It was just like Anthony Hopkins.
I don't know.
I hope your kids and your grandkids enjoy however many millions you got for this.
You know,
movie.
and the funny part was that he went on record in an interview going like, "Oh, Michael Bay's an auteur. He's one of the best
directors I've ever worked
best
with."
directors I've ever worked with." And you know what? that might be true because you know what? Anthony Hopkins has not been getting a lot of jobs lately. But also, let's face it, Michael Bay doesn't give a shit what you do on set. You can flip somebody off, and he'd be like, yeah, do more of that. Call somebody a fat ass. Okay, I'm cool with that. Like, he'll give you liberty to do whatever you want because Michael Bay doesn't give a damn about the story. He cares about the actions, the set pieces. He cares more about that.
Which, actually, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I do applaud him because the action sequences were really awesome, and the special effects were really good in this movie.
I disagree.
Really good. No,
Mike,
really
we were in
good.
the same theater. Did you get to see the same issues with the CGI that I was watching?
I didn't see with the CGI, but I saw what you were talking about. Ziad pointed out like the black bars on the top and bottom. It kept readjusting. It was kind of weird.
It was really
isn't that for
No, 'cause
IMAX though?
yeah, but it's meant for IMAX, but it wasn't proportionate to. We did not watch it in IMAX.
No, but it was all filmed in IMAX, so the ratios of the screen wasn't going to be the same for every single scene.
No.
Yeah, you could see it. Like,
you could see it bouncing up and down for sure.
Yeah,
it
was kind of weird.
I didn't notice that. Maybe that was just an Edwards thing.
Yeah, and it was really, really noticeable. It kept on jarring me in and out of watching the film. So either it was very lazy projectionist work, or it was just simply that everybody got the same stock.
No.
Did you watch it in IMAX?
No, I watched it in regular 2D.
Okay, maybe.
But I saw it in AMC.
There's something weird going on because your theater experience, including trailers, was 2.5 hours at AMC.
And for us, it was 3.
Ours was a full 3.
That
So
is weird.
I think and you're the only one that rated it a takeout instead of.
Well, I watched it at AMC and I got a full 3-hour experience.
Oh, you
too.
did?
Yeah.
Interesting.
We got the director's experience, and Dan got like.
I think there's like a lone like projectionist that's like. Don't thank me for it later.
And splicing giant
I told
balls
you,
inside of it.
I saw it at 10:30, and what time? I texted you guys at 1:13. I was already on my way home from the movie theater, so that's like I finished like at 1 o'clock. So that was 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
right?
that's interesting. I don't know.
That's weird because that means they show no trailers.
I think Dan was abducted by aliens.
I think he might have been abducted by Transformers.
Maybe.
But anyways, the story in this film is pretty ridiculous. I really didn't like it at all.
I
thought
mind it too much.
I thought it was also hilarious that they had Stanley Tucci in it as Merlin, whereas he was also part of the franchise in the previous film. I was like, okay, clearly he didn't want to be in this film.
I sensed that they were trying to do make it seem like Stanley Tucci's character was like a descendant of Merlin.
No, except the girl is the descendant from Merlin.
Yeah,
so it's not
Wait,
the case.
Don't go too
you
much.
just spoiled that.
Don't go too much.
Whoops.
Whoops.
Sorry, guys.
No. This is exactly part of the story. That's
well, no, because
did anybody go, oh yeah, that's definitely
No.
You didn't? You were surprised by that?
No, I was like, really? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I know, because the way the trailers are seemed up, the way everything it makes it seem like Optimus Prime is the last name.
Yeah, which is part of the problem I had with this movie, because
go on.
Okay, Optimus Prime was supposed to be if it was meant to be the way everybody thought it was gonna be, they missed a big opportunity there because yes, if he would have been the last knight, you had Hot Rod there. I think this is the first time Hot Rod was ever in any of the Transformers movies, and if you watch Hot Rod on the 80s animated movie, he becomes Rodimus Prime. So that was like, I was like, wait a minute, what if Optimus?
Yeah, because Optimus Prime was the last Prime.
Yeah, what if he dies, like really dies, and Hot Rod takes over, and that's the way they end this franchise, and they start the new franchise with Bumblebee and Hot Rod as like the main two. But no, they didn't do that. The last night wasn't even who we thought was going to be the last night. Mm-hmm. I thought that was so stupid.
Actually, no, I liked it because it actually gave the humans, I'm not going to say who it was, an actual purpose of being there.
Well, here's the other thing, too, and this is the thing that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed this because
you said really enjoyed.
No. I enjoyed it because at the very least, somebody in the studio told Michael Bay, like, focus on the actors, the ones we can actually see. And I didn't absolutely hate Mark Wahlberg's character in this one as much as I did in the previous one. And then it focused a lot, and too much, in fact, on Mark Wahlberg's story and his path towards redemption. Whereas it should have always been the Transformers story, because at the very end of the story, and I'm not going to spoil it, but you can see it in the trailer. That's the other thing that really frustrates me. Most of the story of the Transformers is in the trailer, but without spoiling it, it's not earned. none of it at the end is earned. The Optimus Prime story, it's not earned at the end. I honestly was like, yeah, I've stopped caring.
No,
I wish there was more involvement in Optimus Prime's story of like needing to figure out. Like, I get
it's
it.
a story of convenience. I mean,
And that's the problem, is that like it should have been more about. Like, I should care about Optimus Prime. Now I know for a fact he will never die. Okay, I know for a fact. Yes, in the cartoons where they were more bold. But in the movies, I know that none of these characters are gonna die. I was actually kind of hoping for at the beginning of the movie.
You were not hoping for anything. You knew this. You thought this movie was gonna be shit. So that's why I'm like, okay, this movie was not shit. So I thought it was a pretty decent film.
I like that you're a mind reader, but that's not what I was actually thinking. No, what I was hoping for was at the beginning was that they show these kids. Now these kids get introduced into this wasteland. They're in Chicago. We know there was a battle there, and I was hoping for a split second that Michael Bay would kill one of the kids. And I know it sounds terrible, and I'm really sorry to say that.
Kill one of the kids? Oh no, you monster! Where have we heard this before?
No, you guys are monsters.
Fast 8 or whatever it was when I wanted them to kill the kid.
No, I just said one of the kids, just to show us that in fact he's willing to take risks.
I'll be honest,
and that wasn't done.
No, to be honest, you thought one of the kids was gonna die when he falls, and they're shooting at them. So it does. You do have fear for those kids.
I felt no fear.
Well, then you're heartless.
And that's but that's my problem.
No, because it shows you there is fear for the kids. One of the kids who falls, you think he's gonna bite the bus because the robot's right there, and then he's saved by the little girl last minute.
Also, here's another thing that I've had with the whole Transformers movies. If robots, and listen, if you watch ever a truck or a car flip over and there's somebody in the vicinity, that person's going to get hit really, really badly, probably, lose a limb or lose a head. And in this film, you got you have Bumblebee smacking people in the face, no blood, no, listen, I get it. I know it's PG-13, but honestly, steer away from doing any of that kind of violence.
Minor.
But it's not minor. It is absolutely essential.
This is not a documentary. You do not have to be realistic with the blood.
I'm not saying the blood. I'm just saying don't do it. If you want us to buy it,
it has to be.
Don't do it.
To be action.
The explosions are enough to show us that the people are getting concussed. Okay, whatever. But it's just been an ongoing issue.
But the funny
since
thing is,
the first Transformers films.
Even Anthony Hopkins is like, oh, don't kill people! Like when they're driving around and they're causing car accidents everywhere. And it's funny that Anthony Hopkins' character brings up, well, you don't have to kill people.
Yeah, no,
because it's ridiculous. Like all this stuff is going. All these people are like, all these cars are flying. All this stuff is happening. That no one ever pays attention to that. Yeah. So finally, Anthony Hopkins was like, well, he actually acknowledges it.
I feel like the screenwriter was acknowledging a lot of the issues from the previous films in this script. Again, there was a lot of really funny
this movie was
lines
part
that just weren't part of it. Yeah.
The Transformers powwow that they had, where they had all these different stories. They were going to have a new director, and they came up with this whole plot line. They had like a screenwriters roundtable or whatever to come up with the new franchise of the Transformers for Paramount. And so they had all this powwow for nothing, but I'm assuming that they kept some of the plot lines from that powwow, and the ones that they kept, I'm pretty sure is the ones that worked for me.
I see. Well, what other ones did work for you, Dan?
I actually liked the. I don't want to give. It's like
it's hard not to give anything away, but.
I agree with you, Dan, that the special effects, I think it was an improvement from the previous films. Like, it did seem a little more it seemed more real. Like, I remember in some of the previous films where a transformation was happening in the sky, and it just looked like
it looked fake.
It looked like
nothing was connecting to each other.
Yeah,
this one actually addressed that issue a lot.
Yeah. And for the special effects alone, I thought all the artists behind the visual effects, I thought they did an amazing job.
And actually, I thought Mark Wahlberg was much likable in this movie.
I agree. That I agree with. Absolutely.
And they really, I fucking hated the last movie a lot. And I hated Mark Wahlberg in that movie.
You mean you didn't like the condoning of pedophilia in the last film?
No, it was ridiculous.
Okay.
And I like the fact that they didn't have that. They didn't have any of that creepiness in this movie.
Well,
so I feel like this movie is a much improvement of the last
I was going to say,
films.
I agree with you on that, because I felt like
I didn't feel creepy watching this movie.
Yes. When Laura Haddock's character appears, first of all, I was like, really? You going to show her playing on a horse? That's kind of weird. And then I could see that he was trying to play a little bit with the gender stereotypes where they start making fun of her because she's not married. I was like, okay, that's clever writing. That's interesting. And so far, it was really good. She goes to see her aunts or her grandmother, and they're making fun of her. And I was like, all right, this is not that bad. But then she gets, taken, and then they put her into the skimpiest dress. And they not only address it, not only does Mark Wahlberg address it in the way he starts talking to her. Oh, you're just dressed like a prostitute. I don't remember what he said, but he said something in the line of that, like a stripper. And immediately I was like, okay, we're back to Michael Bay territory. Like, it was doing it so well.
By improvement, he would have kept her in the movie.
Oh,
the whole movie in that outfit, he didn't. So at least
there was no male gaze like we talked about during the Wonder Woman, where the camera focused on her ass. There was none of that. Thank goodness in this film, but it was seconds away from doing that.
It was, but I really felt like
they must have just cut that out. They must have just said, Michael,
yeah.
no, stop it, stop it,
and then smack his hand.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, and it's funny to me when they do the action, and like they do this explosion, everyone flies away. It's pretty funny. Like some of the action's silly, but I thought the special effects were great. I actually enjoyed the story of the. I mean, I love King Arthur story.
Oh no!
And I love that whole concept of it. So I was like, oh, that's a nice little twist to it.
Okay, so another thing that really upset me. Okay, so one of the things I read an article that mentioned people who like Transformers films like the Suicide Squad and think that Owen Wilson is the best American actor.
Owen Wilson?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird article. But anyways,
it just sounds like it's just making random generalizations.
No. I guess they interviewed folks and they asked, like, do you like Transformers films?
Wilson?
Not the point. The point being the Suicide Squad connection. Okay, Suicide Squad came out and we all were like, right about it. And this film has a montage segment that is pretty much Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
please tell me you remember this.
I think it's a lot slower.
It's a lot slower.
Excuse me. The Transformers montage sequence is a lot faster. You're talking about in terms of the
yes.
introduction of the
Decepticons. And that I think is the initial problem, Dan, is that you really enjoyed that. I was like, really? We're ripping off Suicide Squad?
It was super quick. I think Suicide Squad spent a lot more time.
Oh, absolutely.
It was cool because these Decepticons, I mean, I don't even know if they were in the last movies or not. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
It's all like this fighting. So it was nice to see the different types of Decepticons in this movie. And
but why tell us about them and not tell us about the heroes?
Because it's the same heroes.
Because the heroes don't matter.
No, I don't think so. Because they do in the like.
They don't matter, and that's my point.
And that's one of the reasons too why I was kind of upset with this film, because in the trailers and commercials, you kind of see that Optimus Prime is going to be the bad guy in this movie. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to see Optimus versus the Autobots. Like, I wanted to see the Autobots struggle to try to figure out how to like bring back Optimus from wherever he is, or
they
wherever.
did.
Yeah, for like 5 minutes.
It was actually. I'll tell you how long it was. It was actually for 15 minutes. I wrote it down because I was getting really antsy and just writing still no Optimus Prime, and then finally at 12:10 it hit Optimus Prime shows up. So in fact, it was just for 15 minutes. It was barely even at that.
Yeah, if they would have done that, I would have been like, wow,
You would have gotten over a 3-hour movie. At least they were able to edit themselves down.
Or they could have edited it better and had him come in halfway through the film being the villain instead of trying to bring in the other baddies. Like, it just makes no sense. I don't
want to see Megatron anymore. I thought Megatron was already gone.
Yeah, me too.
So, like...
Well, he came back in the last movie.
I understand that, but for the perception that we got was that it was going to be Optimus Prime versus the Autobots, and I was ready for that.
And that sounds cool, because at least then you have risk.
Yeah.
Then we're actually worried.
It's like, yeah, and even in the commercials, like, Bumblebee's going to die, or something's going to happen to Bumblebee.
Yeah.
But nothing happens.
I don't know. I liked the moment between Bumblebee and Optimus Prime, though. Like, I was like, ugh.
All right, don't give it away, because that is in the last arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's in the trailer. Dan didn't ruin it. So
yeah, you do know that they fight because it's on the trailer.
When they fight.
You see it, yeah.
But no, they should have just done that. They should have fast ate this movie. Like, if they would have had
killed everyone, right, Rigo?
If they would have had the story from Fast 8 be the story for Transformers, I kind of would have enjoyed this.
Okay, I'm cool. You heard it here. He liked Fast 8.
I did not like Fast 8. They should have killed the baby, damn
They
it.
should have killed the baby.
Spoiler.
Anyways,
come on, the movie's been out for
it's been out for a while. You should know
and it's
by
coming
now.
out next week on Blu-ray and DVD.
The
anyway, so.
other thing that I really gnarled at me, and this just has to do with production. And again, there was a moment in the film where I didn't absolutely hate this film. There were parts of it where I actually enjoyed it, but the other things that really just gnarled at me, like the sexism was a big thing, the racism was a bit of an issue as well. But the other thing that really just jarred me, aside from the fact that the ratio kept switching on us, and it might have just been a theater situation, there were cuts that were badly made. There were moments in which the story is propelled forward by somebody saying, "Oh, you got my text," when in fact we didn't see that happen, and we have no idea where they came from, and so it just feels like somebody just added it on just to make sense of the script.
Exposition.
Yeah, and again, that's another big issue with this film, is that there's just so much exposition. There's so many people explaining what you should care about, and none of it. They never show us a reason why to care. I didn't care about this little girl that everybody said was going to be amazing, Isabella Moner. She was okay. She cried a lot, and I was like, cool, she can cry on camera. But you're not that good because you're in a Michael Bay film. I'm sorry. I'm sure your work is better somewhere else, but this was not a great vehicle for her career. It just wasn't. And none of it, I never cared about any of them, and they just showed up out of nowhere. People showed up out of nowhere without explanation.
Well, I don't think they needed the explanation because this is a fast-paced action movie.
Except it was 2.5 hours.
Did you like
No, I mean the action itself. Yeah,
did you like John Turturro's cameo of just like he's basically on the phone for the whole movie
time
and talking about
he
his
was
balls.
the unsung hero.
No, he's on the phone talking about his sweaty balls the entire time.
But then he's just basically on a
That's
phone.
something
in
that John
Cuba.
Turturro would say. He just looks like in the whole movie of the movies, he was a weird person to begin with. But I did like the story, how they tackled the Transformers, how it still was humans against Transformers until throughout the whole movie, because it was carry on from the third movie to this movie as well. So I like that aspect of it as well. So the Transformers were on the run.
Yeah, I don't think there's it's one of those movies where there's so much action going on that it's numbing to the point where like once it gets to the climax, like the explosion ratio has already you've seen it so many times that but in the final climactic sequence, like it's meaningless.
It's very
and you get Mark Wahlberg and Laura Haddock, and it's just basically them running and sliding down things.
Yep.
For about like
and
half
even at
an
that
hour.
you don't understand. And even at that you don't understand where Mark Wahlberg goes and how he grabs her at one point because it's it's edited really badly.
Yeah, there are these strange like editing. I think the editing's a little choppy
It's
in some of the
very
action
choppy,
sequences where I'm like, wait a minute, what exactly is happening right now?
Exactly,
I'm not sure.
We went
I
back
see
to
an explosion and
regular Bayisms.
Like there's a scene. I don't know if this is spoiler, but I don't think so. Okay, so there's a scene where Laura Haddock is she's being kidnapped by a transformer, and she's in like an old vehicle.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden she's in a newer vehicle.
Yes.
And I know what happened.
You didn't see it scan?
I did see the scan, but it was still like a weird choppy edit. I was like, what just?
It was really strange.
Yeah, there was a weird leap to that part, and
that's how they usually did in all the movies.
Oh, okay, and there was like about a dozen things like that where it's like, what just happened? Why are they there now?
Yep.
Like it did, like I could kind of make up why.
Well, let's talk about because that's something that has been in the franchise. Let's talk about the whole franchise as a whole. So. This movie is obviously better than the second, third, and fourth one. All of us agree, right?
I agree. Yeah, sure. But that's obviously with the standard that the first one wasn't.
Now they
really
set up
amazing
in the past movies into that in this film, and how there were like guardians who kept the secret of the Transformers being in society, and how they were, how they would be part of history, but keep it a secret as well as stories.
Yeah.
And I like how that message is that the reasons why we tell stories is because we think we could be heroes in our generation.
Sure.
And that's a great message, I think.
Yeah. And just to talk a little bit about this one too, like listen, the story is about Merlin's and Merlin's staff in the same way that Pirates of the Caribbean is about Poseidon's trident. Okay, so it has a very similar tie
Really quick.
to that silly idea.
Really quick, Letty Kayala Austin. Hi.
Hey, Letty.
She gives a shout out saying, "Thanks for watching the movies. We don't want to pay to see. Like I had no idea there were 5 of these movies.
Yeah,
5
yeah.
of these films. Yes, there are 5. This is the
Letty,
5th
hopefully
one.
you're in AC because we're boiling over
We
here,
are
so
boiling
you're
up.
welcome. What was I saying again? I was saying that oh right, Merlin's staff.
Yes, same as
Which
Poseidon's-
same as Poseidon's trident. Yeah, it and in the same way the Pirates of the Caribbean didn't really make sense. This premise. Now I like the idea that in fact there was guardians. That was actually kind of clever, and I thought that was interesting. But there's no real power associated with the staff, and in fact they break their own code when setting it up. So the staff, in the way that it's shown in the first 30 minutes of the film, they showcase that the staff controls a dragon that is made up of like guardians. Yeah, is that correct then?
Yeah.
Okay. But then, without spoiling it, they lose the staff, but the guardians aren't really part of the other side. That's where the inconsistencies begin, where they just don't realize that the staff is meant to control those things.
Yeah, no,
And so-
I think the way that so the villain of the movie is, her name is Quintessa, and she's the creator of Cybertron. The way that I understood that the staff was the power to create life on Cybertron. That it was basically like the cube,
Yeah.
but it was more powerful because it could restore the whole planet's core by draining it from Earth's core.
From another core, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I understood the staff was, but that staff was created loyalty, and that's why it created the power.
Yes. But
So-
then at the very end, they don't, in fact, show that loyalty. And that was my issue, is that...
Well, because the Knights already betrayed Quintessa.
Yeah.
So that's the way I took it.
I just saw it as completely inconsistent writing, and I was just watching it thinking, oh, we've got an Edge of Tomorrow situation here again, where they had a premise, and they broke their premise, and now we're faced with... let's just throw all the toys in the same box and see what happens.
Well, no, because for me it seemed like the red Transformer, whoever he was, that gave the staff to Merlin, was like, you are trustworthy enough that these people will trust you with the staff, as opposed to like whoever possesses the staff controls all the Transformers.
Yeah.
I didn't see it like that.
No. I saw it as anyways, it's silly, it's stupid, and I think it's inconsistent. And so that's another huge problem I had with it.
I thought it was okay, but I think we've talked enough about the film as
Sweet.
we're roasting in here.
Yes.
we are.
Let's go ahead and give our rating. I guess it's leftovers from the 3 of us.
Are you sure?
Are you
Yeah.
sure, Dan? Are you being switch sides?
No, I'm still take out, but it's majority wins. I guess.
Majority wins in this case. Sorry, don't watch it. Seriously, just avoid it unless you've got kids. In which case,
I would say if you like the first movie,
You're forced into it.
Then you'll like this movie.
if you like the first movie, I hope your maturity level has increased since then. It's been a while, and you're watching better films than this one. Go watch Wonder Woman. It's way
better films coming from the guy who likes Fast and the Furious movies.
Yes.
like
What's
come
a good
on.
alternative giant
Don't
robot movie?
Stop being
A giant robot movie, Pacific Rim. Watch Pacific,
Pacific
Rim.
Rim?
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, the Iron Giant.
yeah. Iron Giant.
Iron Giant is
Yeah.
a great one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, watch anything but this film.
No, I
What
say
else?
if you like the first movie, then you'll like this movie.
Yeah.
They're going in the better direction. If this is the
They're going
launching
the better
point-
direction on the final film of the series.
It was not the
was-
final film of the series.
Was this like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 to
Yeah.
you, Dan?
I-
like
yeah.
where it's an improvement, but
Oh,
still
okay.
like
yeah,
Okay.
Sure,
definitely.
I agree with that.
So you feel like the next Transformers may be like
Well, if
Okay.
it's not Michael Bay directing, then definitely would be a lot better. I'm sure.
Got you.
I mean, it can't be any worse
You-
than 2, 3, and 4.
I mean, of course I don't. You already see Anthony Hopkins in the trailer, but I would have loved to see him as a Transformer. I would have loved that. Like,
Oh, we didn't even talk about his butler.
oh yeah,
We
yeah.
don't-
His
we don't-
sociopathic butler.
We don't need to talk about it, but
It was fun.
I
I
would've-
like Cogsworth
you-
or Cogsman, whatever his name was.
That would have been great. Like a
He
an
downloads his.
Anthony, an Anthony Hopkins Transformer
Okay,
that
this is-
that references all of Anthony Hopkins' old movies, like Fava Beans and Ice Chianti. Like if he was
Okay.
like a Decepticon.
But
Yeah,
it would be crossing the lines of Chappie, and we don't want a repeat of
yeah,
that.
that's true. It almost felt a little bit like Chappie.
It would have been like Chappie if he became a robot after.
No, not he became a robot like from the beginning. Like he's never human. He's just a transformer.
Oh, I see.
And he's like the voiceover
voice.
actor for this transformer who happens to look a lot like Anthony Hopkins if he was a transformer. I think they should have went that route. Like the same as like Dragonheart with Sean Connery. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, I
Anyway.
see.
Yes.
Just throwing that in there.
Letty has a couple more comments. She put Letty refuses to watch it. She says unless Vincent wants to see it in the future. And then, by the way, Wonder Woman, thanks for the recommendation.
See, there you go. I
You're
think
welcome.
she's giving us the points. She's giving us 3 the points. Thank you, Letty. Because we did say the audience was going to choose who gets points. There you go.
But
There we go.
Dan gets the point. I'm commenting on our own video.
Yeah, good job there, Dan. I mean, nothing makes a good podcast than somebody narrating what they're doing.
Damn right. All right, so that'll do it for us here at Movie Menu Reviews. Thank you so much, our special correspondent Rigo Espinoza, for being on the show.
Guys. Thank you for having me on again.
Thank you for suffering with us.
Oh, anytime.
Thank you for suffering, Z.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for making us suffer.
You're welcome.
And I'm Dan the Man, saying until next time, try to stay cool in this heat.
Oh yeah.
And enjoy
Yes.
going to the movies.
Enjoy your AC.
Yeah,
All right,
very much.
Bye.
Oh, so hot. So hot.
Oh,